Hello and welcome to This One Thing, a daily video devotional coming to you from First Presbyterian Church of Fort Lauderdale. And together we'll be looking at one text and choosing one thing for you to consider. And we hope that you find this a thought-provoking, encouraging part of your day. I use an app on my phone in order to listen to audiobooks, and it's a free app that works with the public library system, and it allows you to borrow audiobooks for free. And so towards the end of this last year, I listened to Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a great book, and it's dense. It's full of material that for me at least is taking kind of a while to absorb. And so yesterday, I thought that I'd give it another read or another listen as I considered just some goals and things for 2021 and beyond. So I logged on to the app to find out that the book was unavailable. There were 25 copies of it, and all 25 copies of the book were in use. And I was reminded that there's something about this time of year, about January, the start of a new year, that prompts us towards self-improvement, that prompts us to consider who we are becoming. And Amy and I have been reading a few different parenting books over the last months, as you might imagine. And she read me this funny story from a book that she's been reading called Love and Logic by Foster Cline and Jim Kay. And they were making the argument for just getting started when it comes to building good habits. They recounted an interaction between a prospective trombone student and the trombone teacher. This student was an adult, and so the teacher said confidently, "I can teach anyone to play the trombone in 5 years." The prospective student replied, "I'll be 55 years old in 5 years." To which the teacher responded, "How old will you be if you don't learn to play the trombone in 5 years?" The clock is ticking, right? So who are you becoming? What habits are you cultivating, whether intentionally or unintentionally? Our scripture today comes from the Gospel of Mark's first chapter, and it's a story of Jesus calling his first disciples. As the writer tells it, Jesus does not share some persuasive argument or some catchy motivational story. He simply says, "Follow me, and I'll make you fishers of people." And as the writer tells it, he says that immediately they left their nets, got up, and followed him. Jesus would go on to spend the next 3 years of his life living with these people, walking and talking with them, eating with them, teaching them, laughing and crying with them. And these disciples learned daily new habits, new ways of being, new ways of looking at the world, new ways of loving one another. And they would, of course, go on to plant the seeds for the early church. You know, if we track the numbers, it can be a little bit challenging, particularly if we go back to first century. But according to some estimates, by the end of the first century, there may have been as many as 500,000 Christians, 500,000. Out of 200 million people in the world. That's about a quarter of a percent. And now over the course of the centuries, because of the work of these disciples, these 12 people, the faith continued to grow and now numbers nearly 24 billion people in the world. That's more than 30% of the world's population. And so my question is, what if they had just stayed with their nets? That one day. Now, of course, it didn't all happen in one day. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, writes that daily trajectory is far more important than daily results. That becoming is a daily process, right? And as you think about that question, who are you becoming? As you take inventory of your habits, of your ways of being, the way you talk and interact with people, the way that you love or don't love people. My guess is that those habits tell the story of who or what you are following. So what is your daily trajectory? Are you becoming more like Jesus or becoming more like something else? Only you can answer that question. And so here's the one thing. 5 years from now, will you look more like Jesus or more like someone or something else? The good news is that Jesus is continually making the call for us to follow him. Today's an awfully good day to leave the nets and start. Be safe, be well. We'll see you in worship on Sunday.